You know what? You know, I want to hear a word from you guys about this because I did this for you. You have any idea what the last few days have been like for me? I only just got GTA 5 2 days ago, and I'm already having to throw a review out because everyone wanted it, basically. Not everyone, but a lot of you wanted it. You know, I spent the last couple weeks getting slowly prepared for an entirely different game I was going to review. I even got all the footage for it that I needed. I was going to sit down and I was going to review that game, and it was going to be awesome, but no! Everyone wants me to review GTA 5, and you might be saying, well, why don't you just wait a couple weeks? I can't do that, because I got other plans for October, because it's Halloween. I already got 2 games lined up for that month, which means that by the time I get around to GTA 5, if I put it on the schedule, it'll be November, and that'll be way past time. The time is now, and it's happening. GTA 5 review, let's do this.
In your mind.
Completely upfront with you guys and say that I have never been the biggest fan of Grand Theft Auto from the very start. The only game I ever liked in the series was 3. And yes, believe it or not, I did not like San Andreas at frickin' all. It got so boring for me after a while. I didn't like it. I didn't like the main character whatsoever. I could not get into San Andreas. You know, you might be saying, well, it's not that different from 3, and I know that. And I'm willing to admit that it's probably, you know, a bunch of different aspects about the game that make it worse for me when compared to 3, but I just found myself enjoying 3 way more. Despite the fact that the environment in San Andreas was arguably, well, larger and more expansive. It was a nicer game overall, but I just couldn't get into it. And I never played Vice City, don't ask. As for 4, well, as much as I like Nico, I could not get into that game either, because I really don't know. I think it's because they tried to make the game super realistic, and you know, when I sit down and play a video game, I'm not really sure that's what I want. I mean, I admire the effort, and it was a really well-designed game, but it seemed like somehow there was less to do in 4 when compared to, say, San Andreas. Not even sure how you do that. I mean, next-gen title? You think it'd be bigger, but no. Okay, high five, I think, and no, I don't want to go bowling! God damn it! The only fun I really had in 4 was the multiplayer free mode, which I admit was good for a laugh for, you know, way longer than was necessary, but overall, I found it a bit of a weaker title, even compared to San Andreas, which, again, didn't like that one. So what do I think of 5? 5 is fucking awesome. No, seriously, I was thoroughly amazed when it comes to GTA 5. I can't even believe how much of an improvement this game is over every other title. It's like they took the fun aspects of, say, GTA 3 and combined them with the more realistic, believable aspects of 4. And sort of blended them together, and it's clear to me that they've also taken some inspiration from Saints Row. I say this because the missions in this game, they sort of walk an interesting line between what is believable and what isn't. Now, if you've played Saints Row 3, or God help you, Saints Row 4, you know that it completely jumped the shark in terms of over-the-top ridiculousness. It is no longer a believable situation you're in, and is mindless arcadey fun, which may be good for some, but I prefer a more grounded type of game, personally. Like, that's the reason why I like Saints Row 2 so much. Yeah, it was still kind of over the top, but it was still believable shit. GTA 5 sort of feels like that, where the missions are insane, but they're not so insane that you can't even believe what's happening right now. It's sellable as a narrative, I think is what I'm trying to say. But before I get into missions, I should probably talk about the characters. And the plot overall. The story, I won't spoil too much, is actually really good. This is arguably one of the best narratives in the GTA series so far. In addition, I like all the characters are involved, because there's actually 3 playable characters in the game. You have Michael, who is my favorite character overall. I think it's because I kind of relate to him a bit more in terms of my attitude towards Grand Theft Auto. In terms of the fact that he's a dad, so I kind of get that a little bit. Franklin, who I like, but he's more of the fresh-faced kind of Grand Theft Auto character. He reminds me a little bit of CJ from San Andreas, but way more developed and way more likable. I did not care for CJ at all. And there's also Trevor, who's completely out of his fucking mind, and it's hilarious. We'll just leave it at that.
Hey, cowboy, you mind that I fucked your old lady? Sorry, what was that? Well, no, you don't mind? Oh, because you're a dead man? And the only sentient part you left is this little bit of brain and the gristle on the end of my boot? Well, thank you very much, cowboy.
I think what impressed me about the game is I knew what they were trying to do here. Okay, so you have 3 characters. The plan is, I believe, is so that if you're playing the game, you will have at least one character that you like, even if you don't like, you know, one. There's still 2 more that you can pick from that you can enjoy playing as. But here, you know, all the characters are really good. I like everyone here, and you know, I kind of like what they represent in the GTA series, because I've done some research on this. You have Michael, who is supposed to represent a Grand Theft Auto character that's already been through, you know, a game. He's done it all. He's just sick of it. And he just doesn't really feel like doing it anymore, but he does it because, you know, that's how he, you know, came to being. But, you know, he wants to be done with it. You have Franklin, who's, you know, new. He's down on his luck. He's like, you know, every single starting character has been in GTA, you know, thus far. He's the fresh face, and he's, you know, trying to do what Michael has already done. And then you have Trevor, who represents most GTA players. Insane, doing ridiculous shit for no reason, and killing whoever gets in your way, also for no reason. That is Trevor in all his glory. Jesus Christ, this guy is out of his skull. I sort of like how they're almost mocking their own fan base here. You know, I've never been the kind of Grand Theft Auto player who goes around just killing people indiscriminately. I've never really gotten that about GTA players. They're like, oh, well, that's fun to do, and I'm like, you know, no. Maybe I'm not the type of gamer that just does that sort of thing, but I prefer to follow the story and only do what's asked of me. I don't like killing innocent people. It's not really fun. Or killing cops. That's also not on my list either. Maybe I'm just too nice. I don't know. I've just never been into that. Which I think is why I like Michael more. Not that I don't find Trevor hilarious, because he is, but my point is, the narrative is fucking awesome in 5. But what about the gameplay? Because at the end of the day, you know, we need to have a game that's fun to play too. One of the problems that people might have had with 4 was, you know, maybe driving controls were a bit too realistic, or maybe that the gameplay was a little bit boring, which I could totally agree with. But GTA 5, I tell you what, for one, the mission variety is fucking amazing. That's one of the best things I like about this game. Not only, you know, do the missions, again, walk the line between what is real and what is not, but one of my issues with the older GTA games was that every time I did a mission, it felt like I was doing the same mission over and over and over again. Hey, listen, this guy, he really pissed me off. You have to go kill him. And then the next mission was, hey, this guy really pissed me off. You should go kill him. And it was just that, over and over and over again. And I totally get that there were some exceptions, you know, and they tried to add some variety with some of the missions, and that did happen occasionally, but here, the variety is unreal. I mean, there is not a single mission in this game that I felt was the same as one I just did, as long as you're following, you know, main story missions. And it's fantastic. Each mission I find is fun in their own right, and there was never really a time in the game where I ran into an issue where I was just annoyed. I mean, some of the missions are a little bit irritating, but, you know, overall, it was a ton of fun to play through this game. As for the core game mechanics, well, they're about what you'd expect, you know, from Grand Theft Auto. I think they tweaked the driving controls to be a little bit less realistic than they were in 4. Maybe to give a more arcadey feel, I don't know, but I never really had a problem with, you know, realistic physics before, so I don't really mind any changes. I mean, it all controls fine to me. You know, the only thing I will say is that helicopter controls in 5 are a lot better than they were in 4. While I got what they were trying to do with the helicopters in 4, you know, make them more realistic in terms of their behavior and how you control them, they were really hard for anyone who isn't me to get a handle on. The only reason I could do it is that I play flight sims, so I know. But to the regular gamer, they just want to be able to push forward and have their helicopter do that. Not what it was doing before in GTA 4. Here, they have fixed this, so now you can control your helicopter in peace. Oh, they've added planes. Again, thank you for bringing those back, and I kind of got their reasons, you know, from 4. No one wants anyone to reenact 9/11. Okay, I got that, but you know, I like the fact that the aircraft are back. I think that's a need. You know, in this day and age, you know, just give us all the vehicles. There's really no complaints from that. I mean, just do it. Come on, guys. The shooting mechanics I also found were a little bit tweaked from before. They feel easier to control, which is nicer, because if anything, the worst thing I found about the old GTA games was that the shooting mechanics sucked, and I hated them. Like, that's the reason I couldn't get into Red Dead Redemption. It was basically all combat, which was my least favorite thing about the GTA games, so why the hell would I want to play a game where all you fucking do is ride horses and shoot people? It wasn't fun, okay? Stop asking me to review that game, I didn't like it! But in here, the shooting mechanics are actually fun, and, you know, passable. And since the mission variety is so extensive, you don't feel like you're constantly doing combat. It's not something that you do every single goddamn mission. But, believe it or not, the innovation in GTA 5 sort of speaks for itself when you play it, but I'll try to explain, because there's more to this game than just, you know, traditional GTA fare, and to be perfectly honest with you, it might be able to get away with just that, because it would still be a good game without these features, but some of the stuff they put in this game actually blew my mind with how mind-bogglingly useful it was, and how it completely changed the experience. The big one I want to mention is character switching, which is friggin' awesome, and honestly, I thought it was cool in the trailer, but I didn't really realize how this completely changed how you play the game. You're playing as 3 characters, but you don't select one at the start and just play through the game as one of them. No, 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 no. You're playing as all 3 of them at the same time. What this means is that whenever you go on missions together, you're able to switch which one you're controlling mid-combat. So, let's say, you know, one character's holding the helicopter steady, well, you could switch to the one who's on the other building with a fucking sniper rifle, and help the other one who's busy rappelling down, and you can control all 3 as you switch back and forth. So you get a new perspective on the mission, and you're able to control their actions individually. And you do this on the fly. It's freaking awesome! Now you may be asking, well, what happens when you're not controlling a character? Well, then an AI takes over, and the AI in this game is actually pretty good. They're not stupid, they won't just run into death all the time. So, that's nice. And, you know, when you're on the home map and you're just controlling one character, well, the other 2 will be doing, you know, what they normally do. And when you switch back to them, they're just, you know, sitting around or driving, or they're just, you know, going about their daily business, and they do this, you know, just by default. It helps immerse you in the world they've created, which I think has been a bit of a problem with GTA. You just couldn't get immersed in the world. As much as they tried in 4, it just didn't happen. Here, I feel like I'm dealing with real people, and the AIs on the civilians and the cops all behave in a manner that I would somewhat expect. In fact, whenever you're doing something wrong, like jacking a car, committing Grand Theft Auto, the AIs that see you will actually call the police. That's how they find you. You know, just little things like that help make it seem like the world is truly alive, and I really like that. The heists also are a new aspect, and these are actually really cool. You can actually plan the heists based off of, you know, what you decide to do. Usually you're given 2 options, and you decide which characters go in with you, etc., etc. You could switch the plans based off of your gameplay style or what you feel like doing, and it also helps increase replay value, since, you know, when you do a heist one way, well, maybe you want to go back and try it the other way. Just the idea that you're planning your own criminal heist is really cool. But despite me liking GTA 5, I will admit there are a handful of issues. Really minor ones. It's a great game, and you should definitely play it, but I will not sit here and tell you that it's awesome under no uncertain circumstances. I nitpick every game I review, you know this, and, you know, even games I like a lot, like Tomb Raider, I have to sit here and tell you what's wrong with it. So let me give you a handful of flaws with GTA 5. Alright, so I really don't understand some of the cop AI here, like the police. Okay. For one, it seems too easy to get away from them sometimes. They don't seem to behave in a manner that I expect from law enforcement. Like, I think one of the big issues right now is that they don't like to go off-road. And if you do, they will not chase you. Which is a little dumb, because... You scared of the dirt? Are ya? I don't get it. I don't get it. And, shit, what else is wrong with it? God, this is hard. I've actually never had such a hard time deciding what's really wrong with the game. Ooh, I got one. Okay. Sometimes, the game just sort of transcends what is believable in terms of, you know, behavior and repercussions of your actions, like, oh, I don't know, trying to steal a super weapon and then saying, oh, let's put it back, and then they won't be mad anymore. No, I'm pretty sure they'll still be really mad at you. I don't know, that just seems like something that you might want to avoid. I don't know. It's a minor thing, I guess, but it was something that bothered me a little bit. But to be honest, I'm really grasping at straws when it comes to complaints. I mean, the game is really that good. Maybe once I play it more, I'll find more flaws. I mean, I'm sure there's the occasional glitch in a game this large, but you know, it's a good game, and you should really try it if you haven't. And actually, I would argue that if you aren't a fan of GTA, this would be a good time to jump on, because this is one impressive game, and like I said, I'm not a big fan of GTA, and never have been, so the fact that I'm enjoying this should mean a lot. But that's really all I gotta say about it. And I know you probably expected some kind of weird little skitter joke about the game or something, but I really didn't have time to prepare, so you're just gonna have to handle the regular review, and I hope you enjoy what I got planned for next month, because next month is October, which means it is Halloween. Because it's October, you know, because the 31st, that's Halloween. My point is that I'm reviewing 2 games that follow that theme, and I've got some stuff planned. I've got a plan in motion, and this time, random popular game releases will not mess them up. I hope. But until then, this is Darkness, and I bid you all a fond farewell.